There's a strange belief most of us carry, quietly, deeply, almost invisibly, that if we're not struggling, we're somehow doing something wrong. That success earned without pain isn't real success. That ease is suspicious. That rest must be followed by guilt. That if something good comes to us effortlessly, we didn't really deserve it. We've been taught to wear our suffering like a medal, to chase validation through exhaustion, and to associate value with how much we can endure. But what if this belief system, as deeply woven into our identity as it may be, is a lie? What if it's the very thing keeping us from the life we're meant to live? From childhood, we are conditioned to seek approval through effort. We're praised when we overextend, applauded when we stay late, admired when we sacrifice ourselves in the name of productivity. We're shown over and over again that love, recognition, even rest must be earned through hardship. That the more tired you are, the more important you must be. That the more overwhelmed your schedule is, the more successful you must be becoming. So we push harder. We take on more. We stretch our bodies and our souls thinner and thinner, until we forget what it even feels like to move with ease. We confuse stress with purpose. We confuse pressure with progress. And then we wonder why our hearts are tired, our spirits disconnected, our joy so fleeting. But deep down, another part of us knows this can't be the way life is meant to be lived. That part of you, the quiet, wise part, is the one listening now. It's the part of you that aches not because it's weak, but because it's wise. It remembers a time before you learned to equate worth with suffering. It remembers the version of you that believed life was supposed to feel light, that love was supposed to arrive without earning, that happiness wasn't supposed to be delayed until the grind was over. That part of you is still here, underneath all the tension, the timelines, the noise, and it's ready to lead again. You see, ease is not laziness. It's not giving up. It's not checking out of life. Ease is the return to your natural rhythm, the rhythm of your breath when you're not rushing, the rhythm of your thoughts when they're not soaked in fear, the rhythm of your soul when it's not trying to prove anything. Ease is the frequency of trust, the deep, embodied trust that you are already enough, that you don't have to bleed to be worthy, that joy is not a reward, it's your right. But choosing ease means confronting every part of yourself that still believes pain is your price tag. It means unlearning the identity you've built around the fighter, the overachiever, the one who carries everyone. It means looking your inner critic in the eye and saying, I no longer need to hurt to matter. It means giving up the illusion that more suffering equals more significance. That's a brave decision, and for many a terrifying one. Because if you stop struggling, then who will you be? Who are you without the constant hustle? Without the need to be 10 steps ahead? Without the fear that ease will make you lazy or weak or invisible? The truth is, you're more powerful in peace than you ever were in pressure. You are more magnetic in flow than you ever were in force. You are more you when you're not constantly trying to be more. And that power, that presence, that peaceful clarity, it comes when you finally stop chasing and start allowing. Modern science, especially quantum theory and the teachings of Dr. Joe Dispenza, now shows what mystics and sages have known for centuries. Your emotional state directly impacts the field around you. When you live in a constant state of survival, stress, urgency, fear, you emit signals into the quantum field that mirror that chaos. And the universe, quite literally, begins to match your energy with more of the same. More resistance, more pressure, more uphill battles. But when you begin to regulate your nervous system, when you shift into gratitude, joy, presence, your field becomes coherent. You don't just feel better, you attract better. You're not forcing your future into place. You're aligning with it. That is the essence of ease. And yet, for many, ease will feel uncomfortable at first. Not because it's wrong, but because it's unfamiliar. Your body has been rehearsing struggle for so long that peace feels unnatural. Like wearing clothes that don't quite fit. You might find yourself sabotaging calm, creating unnecessary conflict, feeling anxious in the absence of chaos. That's okay. That's not failure. It's just a nervous system learning a new song. One that doesn't start with tension. One that doesn't demand a breakdown before every breakthrough. This is the season of unlearning, of releasing the conditioning that says you must suffer first and breathe later, of replacing the belief that good things only come through pain with a higher truth, that when you're aligned with your soul, life begins to move with you, not against you, that when you trust the inner voice that says rest now, let go, or say no, you're not falling behind, you're finally catching up with yourself, the real you. The one who's been waiting to live differently, softer, freer, deeper. You do not need to struggle to deserve peace. You do not need to struggle to deserve love. You do not need to struggle to be chosen, to be supported, or to be celebrated. You already are. And the more you allow ease, the more clearly you'll see. It was never the struggle that made you strong. It was always your softness, your openness, your courage to surrender that made the difference. This is your invitation to return to that power. Not through effort, but through energy. Not through perfection, but through presence. Not through fear, but through flow. The moment you begin to choose ease over effort, the world around you shifts. Not because everything suddenly becomes perfect, but because you do. Your energy softens. Your breath deepens. You no longer feel the need to fight your way forward. And in that softness, something sacred awakens. Your true self, the one who never needed to prove anything in the first place. This is the moment you begin to remember. Peace is not something you chase. It's something you return to. And when you do, life starts to meet you there. At first, you may feel resistance. Your mind will whisper, "You can't rest now." It'll urge you to go faster, try harder, stay busy. That voice isn't evil, it's ancient. It was formed when you believed love had to be earned, when safety only existed in performance. But you're older now, wiser, and you have the power to pause, to breathe, and to say, "I don't live by those rules anymore." That single moment of conscious detachment, that space between impulse and awareness, that's where healing begins. That's where your nervous system gets rewired, not for survival, but for presence. Let's be clear. Choosing ease doesn't mean you stop showing up. It means you start showing up from a different place. You still move, but now from inspiration, not obligation. You still work, but now from alignment, not anxiety. You still grow, but now from curiosity, not from trying to escape who you are. Your life no longer becomes a to-do list of what needs fixing. It becomes an unfolding of what's already working. And you begin to notice how many things are finally flowing. So many people think ease is passive, but it takes deep strength to walk in peace while others race in panic. It takes trust to rest when the world tells you to run. It takes unshakable faith to say, "I'm not behind. I'm exactly where I'm meant to be." This level of inner security is magnetic. It draws people, opportunities, even miracles toward you. Not because you fought for them, but because you've allowed them. Because you've become someone who trusts that what is meant for you doesn't need to be forced. It needs to be received. Receiving is a sacred act, and for many, the hardest one. We've been trained to achieve, to fix, to give, to strive. But very few of us have learned how to truly receive, to open our hands without guilt, to say yes without anxiety, to let good things come without waiting for the catch. But if you've made it this far, it means your soul is ready to receive love that doesn't drain you, work that energizes you, relationships that meet you, joy that isn't followed by a crash. This is your moment to stop surviving and start allowing. Your nervous system, your inner compass, is learning a new language now, one of safety, softness, and trust, where the absence of stress is no longer a threat, but a sign of healing, where you can sit in stillness without shame, where you can say, I don't need to chase anymore, because what's meant for you, what's truly aligned, will never require you to abandon yourself to get it. You do not have to betray your peace to fulfill your purpose. You do not have to sacrifice your joy to be responsible. You are allowed, fully, deeply allowed, to have both. And if you've forgotten that, this is your sign to remember. There is a version of your life that doesn't involve constant pressure. A version where you wake up and your first thought isn't panic. A version where you no longer delay your joy until you've earned it. A version where your presence, just your presence, is enough. That life is not a fantasy, it's a frequency. And the more you live from that place, from gratitude, trust, ease, the more that life begins to find you. This is not about abandoning goals. It's about shifting the energy behind them. It's about understanding that urgency is not always alignment, that forcing is not always focus, that pushing harder is not the same as moving wisely. When you choose ease, you step into partnership with life itself. You listen more, you notice more, you resist less. And that's when synchronicity shows up, the call you weren't expecting, the connection that feels like home, the opportunity that arrives exactly when you stop chasing. This is your new way of living, not ruled by fear, but led by faith, not built on pressure, but rooted in presence. A life where your inner peace is no longer optional. It's your foundation. A life where you don't just survive the day, you actually feel alive in it. And if anyone asks why you're choosing to let it be easy now, tell them this: because you finally remembered you don't need to suffer to deserve what is already yours.